Hello students, now we are with the second lecture of the chapter aldehyde ketones and carboxylic acid. In the second lecture we are continuing with the same method, that is method of preparation of both aldehyde and ketones. In the sequence there is second method, that is by the dehydrogenation of alcohols. That the preparation of aldehyde and ketones is carried out from alcohol but by their dehydrogenation. In this method the vapors of the alcohol is passed over the metals like copper and silver at a temperature of 573 Kelvin. As the alcohol is passed over this metal, the loss of hydrogen takes place and aldehyde and ketones are formed. Let's see how the removal of hydrogen takes place. The hydrogen atom of the OH group and hydrogen atom of the neighboring carbon atom, that the carbon atom on which the OH group is placed. Both the hydrogen atoms are lost as H2 molecule, leading to the formation of double bond at this position. At this carbon atom and this oxygen atom, they have one valency free after the loss of hydrogen atom. They will complete their valencies by the formation of this double bond. Similarly, in this case also, the hydrogen atom and of the OH group and the hydrogen atom from this carbon atom is lost as H2 molecule and leading to the formation of double bond. As a result, ketones are formed. So the 1 degree alcohol will give us the aldehyde and 2 degree alcohol give us the ketone, just as in the previous method. Now what happens when 3 degree alcohol is undergoing the same treatment? In 3 degree alcohols, if we carry out the dehydrogenation by passing the alcohol over the hot copper, that is copper as at 573 Kelvin, instead of dehydrogenation means loss of hydrogen. Here the dehydration takes place. Now the question arises, why the dehydrogenation does not take place? During these two reactions, the hydrogen atom of the OH group and hydrogen atom of the carbon atom bearing this OH group is lost. Here in this case, the OH group is there, but the hydrogen atom on this carbon atom which is bearing the OH group is not there. So the loss of H2 molecule does not take place. Instead of dehydrogenation, the dehydration takes place. How? The OH group is lost along with the hydrogen atom from the beta carbon atom. Beta means that is neighboring to this carbon atom. At this carbon atom, in the common system, we use alpha beta to number the carbon chain. The carbon atom which is bearing the functional group is named as the alpha carbon and the next carbon will be the beta carbon. So the hydrogen atom will be lost from the beta position. In this way, H2O molecule is lost, dehydration takes place and alkene is formed. Next method is by the ozonolysis of alkenes. During this ozonolysis, the alkene molecule undergo breaking to give either ketone or aldehyde, or can be both, depending upon the structure of the starting alkene. That means that the alkene which is undergoing ozonolysis reaction can give rise to both aldehyde and ketones depending upon its structure. Let's take an example. There is an alkene, that is 2-methyl butadiene. In this alkene, on the two doubly bonded carbon atom, there are present alkyl groups. On this carbon atom, there is only one alkyl group, and on this carbon atom, there are present two alkyl groups, that is 2 methyl groups. In the first step, we will treat it with ozone in a medium of CCl4. As a result, these two bonds will be broken and this structure is formed which is known as the ozonide. Now just look at the arrangement of oxygen atom, the 3 oxygen atom of the ozone. One is at the top and the other 2 are at the bottom, and the bonds are formed in this way. There are no double bond between the 2 carbon atoms. Both the double bond are removed, and there is a ozone, the 3 oxygen atom of the ozone in between these 2 carbon atoms in this way. This structure is known as the ozonide. In the next step, this ozonide is hydrolyzed by water in the presence of a reducing agent. That's why it is reductive hydrolysis. Now, if we want to carry out the hydrolysis, then we must have used the water. Why the presence of zinc? Now, during the hydrolysis, the breaking of bond will take place in this way. These lines show the breaking of the bonds during the hydrolysis reaction. In this way, the breaking of bond will take place. Now, this carbon is having one valency free, and this oxygen is also having the one valency free, and the 2 will form the double bond to complete their valency. Similarly, here this carbon and this oxygen will form the double bond to complete their valency. Now, this oxygen is left. This oxygen can oxidize the product which is obtained after hydrolysis. To prevent that oxidation, we have used this reducing agent. This reducing agent will remove this oxygen as zinc oxide and prevent the further oxidation of these compounds. So, the breaking of bond will lead to the formation of these 2 compounds. Here an aldehyde and a ketone is formed. Now, why an aldehyde and why a ketone? If we look at the hydrolysis reaction, after the hydrolysis reaction, this carbon will have the double bond O. On this double bond O, there is one alkyl group and one hydrogen atom. Due to the presence of these 2 groups, it will be an aldehyde. And on this carbon atom, there is also a double bond O group which is formed after the hydrolysis, but it is already having 2 alkyl group. That's why a ketone. So, we see here that it is the structure of the starting alkene that will decide the nature of the product formed. If we look at the reaction, what in total is happening during the reaction? During the ozonolysis reaction, this double bond is undergoing, or this double bond is removed. In place of this double bond, this carbon is having the C double bond O group, and this carbon is also having the double bond O. That is, these 2 products are formed. So, in this way, we can easily predict what will be the product formed during the reaction, and these groups which are present on double bonded carbon atom will decide the nature of the product formed, that is, whether it is an aldehyde or a ketone. So, next we have the next method, that is by the hydration of alkynes. As the name suggests, it is hydration of alkynes. Hydration means addition of water. That during the reaction, the addition of water take place over the alkynes, and this reaction is known by a name, that is Kucherov reaction. Let's see what is the reaction. Here we have taken an alkyne, that is ethyne. During the reaction, it is treated with dilute H2SO4 along with small amount of HgSO4 at a temperature of 333 Kelvin. As a result, water molecule gets added onto the alkyne molecule. How the addition will take place? There is simply one bond is removed, and on one carbon atom the hydrogen part of the water molecule will get added, and on the other carbon atom the OH part will be added. In this way, the water molecule is added here and this product is formed. In this product, this carbon atom is having the double bond on one side and OH group on other side. So the same carbon atom is having the double bond as well as OH group. That's why known as the enol. En plus ol, enol. Such compounds undergo tautomerization to form the keto form, because the keto form is more stable as compared to enol form. Now, how the tautomerization take place? Now, first of all, the question arises, what is tautomerization? Tautomerization is tautomerism is simply a type of structural isomerism in which the two isomeric forms are in dynamic equilibrium with each other, that they are interconvertible into each other. Tautomerism is basically a type of structural isomerism, and the two structural isomers, they are interconvertible, they are in dynamic equilibrium with each other, they can easily interconvert into each other, and such type of isomerism is known as the tautomerism. So here also we are having keto-enol tautomerism. It is keto form and it is enol form. In this keto-enol tautomerism, the keto form is always more stable. That's why by the addition of water molecule on this alkyne, enol form is formed, and the enol form undergo tautomerization to form the keto form, and in this keto form aldehyde and ketones are formed. Now, how the tautomerization take place? During the tautomerization, this hydrogen atom is moving to this carbon atom. As a result, this double bond is moving to this position, due to which a C double bond O group is formed, and this carbon atom becomes CH3. So it is ethanol. Here the ethane is converted into the ethanol, that is an aldehyde. Let's see one more example, that is propyne. C H triple bond C and one carbon atom more here, that is 3 carbon alkyne, that is propyne. Under this condition, that in the presence of dilute H2SO4 HgSO4 at a temperature of 333 Kelvin, one water molecule gets added. But one thing should be noted here is this alkyne is unsymmetrical. It is symmetrical. Both the triple bonded carbon atom are same. Here there is no alkyl group, but there is one alkyl group. So this alkyne is unsymmetrical, and the addition of this water molecule will take place according to the Markovnikov's rule. Markovnikov's rule says that hydrogen atom of this molecule will go to this carbon atom, which is already having more number of hydrogen. So during the addition of water molecule, this one bond will be broken and hydrogen will go to this carbon atom and OH will go to this carbon atom. As a result, this enol is formed, CH3 C along with OH group double bond CH, and during which will undergo tautomerization to form the more stable keto form. How the tautomerization take place? The hydrogen atom of the OH group will go to the neighboring carbon atom, and the double bond, carbon-carbon double bond, from there the one bond move to the CO bond, making it a C double bond O group. So we will have the CH3 C double bond O, and here also CH3. So in this way a ketone is formed, that is propanone. Now here the question arises. Now it is explained here that how the tautomerization is taking place, that this is the case of enolic form formed in the case of ethyne, that in this OH group the lone pair of and this OH group will undergo conjugation with double bond. So this lone pair will move to this bond, making it a double bond, and this carbon atom will have the more than 4 bonds, that is 5th bond, and as a result this bond will be broken and it will move to this carbon atom, and this carbon atom will have the negative charge and this oxygen atom will have the positive charge. As a result, it will take the electron from this OH bond to complete its or to neutralize its positive charge. As a result, this hydrogen atom will get positively charged, which will be neutralized by the or which will be attracted by this negatively charged carbon atom, leading to the formation of CH3 C double bond OH. In this way, enolization takes place. Now the question arises, why the keto form is more stable as compared to enol form? कीटो फॉर्म ज़्यादा स्टेबल होती क्यों है इनोल फॉर्म से? The greater stability of keto form than the enol form is due to the greater bond energy of the C double bond O and than the C double bond C bond. So in these two structure, the major difference is the position of the double bond. In this enol form, the double bond is between the two carbon atom, and here in this keto form, the double bond is between the carbon and oxygen. So this double bond is converted, carbon-carbon double bond is converted into the carbon-oxygen double bond, and the carbon-oxygen double bond is much stronger as compared to carbon-carbon double bond. That's why the keto form is more stable as compared to the enol form. So here, because of the difference in the bond energy, the keto form is more stable, and the enol form, as soon as it is formed, it will undergo tautomerization to form the keto form. One more interesting fact, but it is not necessary that always keto form is more stable than the enol form. ये जरूरी नहीं है कि हमेशा कीटो फॉर्म हमेशा मोर स्टेबल हो इनोल फॉर्म से. There are certain other factors which will decide the stability of the keto or enol form, because of which sometimes the enol form is more stable as compared to the keto form. Let's have a look at this compound. It is a beta diketone. Beta diketone means it is a diketone that is having two ketonic group at beta position with respect to each other. Now if we consider this keto group, this carbon will be the alpha carbon and this carbon will be the beta carbon, and at the beta carbon there is one more keto group, so it is a beta diketone. If this beta diketone undergo tautomerization, this enol form is formed. Now the percentage of the two forms clearly indicate that enol form is more stable as compared to the keto form. Now how this is? So this enol form is more stable because of the intramolecular H bonding. Now let's see how the tautomerization take place here. In this case, this hydrogen atom of the CH2 group will go to this carbon atom, this oxygen atom, and this double bond will move to this position, making it a double bond, and this oxygen becomes the OH group. Now as it becomes the OH group, the hydrogen atom come close to the C double bond O group. As a result, a hydrogen bond is formed within the molecule, which is known as intramolecular H bonding, and due to the formation of this intramolecular H bonding, this compound becomes, or this form becomes more stable. So it is again a new thing that it is not necessary that enol form is more stable than the, it is not necessary that keto form is more stable than the enol form. Sometimes due to some additional factors, enol form can also be more stable than the keto form, but usually the keto form is more stable. So here we will see one more thing, that from ethyne we have obtained an aldehyde, and from propyne we have obtained a ketone. Here it is written, only ethyne give aldehyde while rest of alkyne gives ketone. Now the question arises, why? इथाइन ही आपको एल्डिहाइड देगा, बाकी जितने भी अल्काइंस हैं वो सारे के सारे कीटोन देंगे, चाहे वो 3 कार्बन के साथ हो चाहे वो 4 कार्बन के साथ हो, दे विल ऑलवेज गिव अस द कीटोन्स. व्हाई दिस इज सो? Just look at this reaction. If we want aldehyde from this compound, the OH group must have gone to this carbon. As a result, the C double bond O group will be formed at this carbon atom, and we will get the aldehyde. C double bond O group at this position and a CH bond, aldehyde. But the OH group moves to this carbon atom. Why? Because of the Markovnikov's addition. So, in case of 3 or more carbon alkyne, the addition will take place according to the Markovnikov's rule, and that will lead to the formation of ketones only. So, the only ethyne will give us the aldehyde, whereas the rest of the alkyne will give us the ketone. Now, let us move to the next reaction, next topic, that is method of preparation of aldehydes only. Now, here we are discussing the methods which are leading to the formation of aldehydes only, that they will help in the formation of aldehydes. First is Rosenmund reduction. It is a method of preparation of aldehyde from the acyl chloride or acid chlorides. Now, during this reaction, the acid chloride or the acyl chloride is treated with hydrogen in the presence of palladium metal, but with some additional condition. This palladium metal is supported over barium sulfate and also having some sulfur added to it. Now, why these two substances are taken here? These two substances are playing a very important role here. Actually, hydrogen in the presence of palladium is a very strong reducing agent, and it is an acid derivative just like carboxylic acid. So, in the presence of a strong reducing agent, this acid chloride will get reduced directly to the alcohol and not to the aldehyde. So, if we treat this acid chloride with hydrogen only in the presence of palladium, not with these reagents, only in the presence of palladium, then the end product will be the alcohol. To stop the reaction at the aldehyde stage, we have to decrease the efficiency of this palladium catalyst, and the efficiency of this palladium catalyst is decreased by the addition of these two substances. They act as poison for the catalyst, and the poison always decreases the efficiency of the catalyst. So, in this catalyst, the barium sulfate and the sulfur, though both are poisoning the palladium catalyst, in the presence of this catalyst, the hydrogen will add to this molecule, leading to the formation of only aldehyde. The efficiency of this palladium catalyst is decreased so much that only the reduction up to the aldehyde take place, no further reduction to the alcohol take place. How the reaction is written, you will see that the hydrogen molecule, from this molecule, one hydrogen will be lost with Cl, and other hydrogen will take the place of the Cl, will get the aldehyde. In the simple way, we can easily understood the reaction, that how it is written, that one hydrogen is taking the place of chlorine and other hydrogen is going along with the chlorine to form the HCl. One interesting fact here, the formaldehyde cannot be prepared by this method, that from this method we cannot prepare formaldehyde. Formaldehyde means 1 carbon aldehyde. aldehyde with one carbon atom. Why it cannot be prepared? Because for the preparation of formaldehyde, the acyl chloride which is required is the formyl chloride, HCOCl, that is acyl chloride with one carbon atom. And this acyl chloride is unstable at room temperature. That's why it will not undergo a reaction, and we cannot prepare formaldehyde with this method. Next is from nitriles and ester. Here also we have a name reaction, that is Stephan reduction. Stephan reduction. Stephan reduction is basically the reduction of nitriles to aldehydes. Now, how it is carried out? Nitriles in ether medium, when reduced with SnCl2, that is stannous chloride, and HCl gas, gives PPT of precipitate of imine hydrochloride. The imine product is then hydrolyzed by boiling water to give the aldehyde. Now let's see what happens with this stannous chloride and HCl gas. Actually, this stannous chloride, that is Sn, tin show two oxidation state, +2 as well as +4, and +4 is more stable as compared to +2. So when it is kept, or it is mixed with the HCl, it will combine with HCl to form the SnCl4 and releases the 2-nation hydrogen. And these 2-nation hydrogen will then reduce the nitrile to imine. Just as in this reaction, it is a nitrile. Nitrile means the compound containing CN functional group, cyanide functional group. During the reaction, this one carbon nitrogen bond is broken, and one hydrogen will get added to this carbon atom and one hydrogen on this nitrogen atom. As a result, we will get the RCH double bond NH, and as the medium is acidic, and this imine product will form a salt with HCl, that is imine hydrochloride salt is formed. This imine hydrochloride is then boiled with water to hydrolyze it. As a result, aldehyde is formed along with NH4Cl. Now, how the hydrolysis take place? During the hydrolysis, this carbon nitrogen bond is broken. If we look at the arrangement of atoms for writing down the reaction, I am not discussing the mechanism of this reaction. I am just expressing here that how can we simply write down the reaction. Hydrolysis means breaking down of the compound with the help of water molecule. During this hydrolysis reaction, we have to look at the reaction, that what is the total number of bonds which are going to be broken. Now, at this position, there are 2 bonds which are going to be broken. So, with the help of water molecule, we will break these 2 bonds, and the water molecule will also undergo breaking in such a way that it will break its 2 bonds, that both the hydrogen will be removed from the oxygen atom. The 2 bonds will be broken, and the oxygen will combine with the carbon to form the RC double bond OH, and the hydrogen will combine with the nitrogen to form the NH3, and NH3 will combine with HCl, that is present already in the medium, that is NH3 will combine with the HCl to form the NH4Cl. In this way, we can easily write down the reaction. Similarly, with this acetonitrile or ethane nitrile, on treatment with SnCl2 and HCl, we will have the 2-nation hydrogen. This will add to this C triple bond N to give the imine hydrochloride. that is acetyldimine hydrochloride, which then boiled with water undergo hydrolysis to give the acetaldehyde. In the same way as in the above case, these two bonds will be broken with the water molecule. The water molecule will also break its two bonds. The oxygen will go to this portion and the two hydrogen will go to this portion, and this will give us the NH4Cl and aldehyde. This is Stephen's reduction. Now there is another way of reducing the nitriles, that is by the use of diol H. Now what is this diol H? It is diisobutyl aluminum hydride. So there is another way of reducing the nitriles to aldehydes is by the use of diol H, and diol H is diisobutyl aluminum hydride. This reagent is also a reducing agent like the lithium aluminum hydride, but it is much less reactive than the lithium aluminum hydride. Both lithium aluminum hydride as well as this diol H is releasing the H negative ion, hydride ion, and that hydride ion is responsible for the reducing nature of these two compounds. But this diol H is much less reactive and hence much more selective as compared to lithium aluminum hydride. As we all know that lithium aluminum hydride is very strong reducing agent, but in comparison to that lithium aluminum hydride, this diol H is comparatively very less reducing agent, very weak reducing agent. So how the reduction take place? The nitriles, when treated with diol H, they again will form the imine, that is compound having the C double bond N bond, and the imine on hydrolysis with water in acidic medium, they will give us the aldehyde. In the same way, these two bonds will be broken and the oxygen will go to this portion and hydrogen will go to this portion. We have written here the NH4 positive because the medium is acidic. The NH3 will take up the H positive ion to form the NH4 positive ion. Because of the less reactivity, this diol H is not able to reduce the double bond. Hence, diol H is also used to convert unsaturated nitriles to the corresponding unsaturated aldehydes. तो diol H जो है वो आपके पास बहुत ही वीक रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट है. वीक रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट होने की वजह से वो ज़्यादा सिलेक्टिव है. ये बात हमेशा याद रखिएगा कि जो रिएजेंट जितना लेस रिएक्टिव होगा वो उतना ही ज़्यादा सिलेक्टिव होगा. वो वही रिएक्शन करवाएगा जो वो इजीली कर सकता है और वो रिएक्शन नहीं करवाएगा जो इजीली नहीं कर सकता. तो जो रिएजेंट कम रिएक्टिव होगा वो हमेशा ज़्यादा सिलेक्टिव होगा, और जो रिएजेंट आपके पास ज़्यादा रिएक्टिव होगा वो लेस सिलेक्टिव होगा. वो सभी जो कंपाउंड्स हैं या जो सभी रिएक्शंस हैं वो सारे के सारे रिएक्शन देगा. तो डाइवल एच आपके पास क्या है, ये डबल बॉन्ड को रिड्यूस नहीं करता है, इसीलिए हम अनसैचुरेटेड नाइट्राइल्स को अनसैचुरेटेड एल्डिहाइड्स में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं. किसकी मदद से? डाइवल एच की मदद से. सिंपली रिएक्शन है. मैंने यहाँ पर 2 स्टेप्स में रिएक्शन दिखाया था, यहाँ पर एक ही स्टेप में भी हम लिख सकते हैं. सिंपली जो दोनों स्टेप्स हैं उनके रिएजेंट्स को इसी एरो के ऊपर लिख दीजिए. इन द फर्स्ट स्टेप it is diol H, in the second step it is hydrolysis in acidic medium. We will get the aldehyde. Next, here we are discussing the mechanism of this reaction. Now how the reaction take place, how this reaction is taking place here. That is mechanism in case of reduction of nitriles by the diol H. It is diol H. What is this IBU? Isobutyl group, because diol H is diisobutyl aluminum hydride. Aluminum hydride, 1 hydrogen atom, and diisobutyl means 2 isobutyl group. Now the reaction start with the donation of lone pair of electron by the nitrogen atom to the aluminum group. Here this aluminum atom is trivalent, having only sextet of electron, that is 6 electron in its valence shell. It is short of 2 electron. Due to this electron deficiency, it will take the electron from the nitrogen atom, and as a result the nitrogen atom will get positively charged and the aluminum will get the electron and become negatively charged. And because of this negative charge, it will be able to lose its H negative ion. Now this is the difference between the lithium aluminum hydride and dibel H. Lithium aluminum hydride itself reduces the H negative ion. It can easily release the H negative ion, hydride ion, but the dibel H, only when it receives the electron pair from the reagent or reactant, other reactant, then only it will be releasing the H negative ion. So if the reagent is such, if the other reactant is such that it can lose electron pair towards the aluminum atom, only then the dibel H is able to reduce that reactant. Next, this after the loss of this H negative ion, this H negative ion will move to this carbon atom. Why? Because nitrogen atom is having the positive charge, and because of positive charge it will take up its electron. As a result, this carbon atom will become positively charged and the H negative ion will move to this carbon atom. As a result, this structure is formed, R with C, along with this carbon atom it will become CH with double bond N, then single bond aluminum, and the 2 isobutyl group. And then hydrolysis take place. This product will be hydrolyzed with water in acidic medium. This bond will be broken, and as I have said earlier also, that these 2 bonds are broken, the water will also break its 2 bonds. The oxygen part will go to this carbon atom, leading to the formation of C double bond OH, and hydrogen will go to this carbon atom, and this bond is also broken during hydrolysis. Now the one bond is broken here, the water molecule will also break only one bond, that is H, and OH will be separated. Hydrogen will go to this part and OH will go to this part. As a result, this will be formed, that aluminum with 2 isobutyl group and OH, and here NH3 is formed, 2 hydrogen from this side and 1 hydrogen from this side. This dibel H is also helpful in reducing the esters. Same way, both these steps which we have carried out in the case of nitriles, here also they are taking place. That is, in the first step the treatment with dibel H, and the second step in the hydrolysis of the product formed in the first step. Just like in the nitriles, the nitrogen atom is able to lose its lone pair of electron towards the aluminum atom. Here this C double bond O group of the ester group is able to lose its or share its electron pair with the aluminum atom. As it donates its electron with the aluminum atom, the aluminum will become negatively charged and the oxygen atom will become positively charged. Now this product is formed. The oxygen will neutralize its positive charge. How? By taking its electron. As a result, this carbon atom will become positively charged, and because the aluminum has taken the electron from the oxygen atom, it becomes negatively charged, and now it is able to lose its H negative ion, hydride ion. So hydride ion will move from this aluminum atom to this carbon atom. Now the reduction has taken place. Reduction हो चुकी है आपके पास. Earlier, this carbon atom is having the 3 bonds with the oxygen atom, 1 bond with the carbon atom. So the oxidation state क्या होगी? +3. और यहाँ पर जैसे ही हाइड्रोजन इस पर ट्रांसफर हुआ, अब यहाँ पर एक बॉन्ड ऑक्सीजन के साथ यहाँ पर है, एक बॉन्ड ऑक्सीजन के साथ यहाँ पर है और एक हाइड्रोजन के साथ है। तो यानी कि यहाँ पर हमारे पास सिर्फ 2 ही बॉन्ड है ऑक्सीजन के साथ, एक बॉन्ड कार्बन के साथ है, यहाँ से कोई ऑक्सीडेशन में चेंज नहीं आएगा, और यहाँ पर एक हाइड्रोजन के साथ है, सिर्फ 2 ही बॉन्ड है ऑक्सीजन के साथ। तो इसका मतलब यहाँ पर ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट क्या होगी, यहाँ पर ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट +1 होगी। तो इसका मतलब ये +3 से +1 में आ गया, होगी रिडक्शन। यही तो चाहिए था हमारे को, रिडक्शन। अब उसके बाद जब ये प्रोडक्ट बनेगा उसमें अरेंजमेंट ऑफ जो ग्रुप्स है उनकी जो शिफ्टिंग है वो किस तरीके से होगी हाइड्रोलिसिस में। हाइड्रोलिसिस में आपके पास ये जो इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर है वो इस तरफ ट्रांसफर होगा, और जैसे ये डबल बॉन्ड बनेगा ये कार्बन OCH3 ग्रुप को लूज कर देगा, एंड द OCH3 ग्रुप विल बी लॉस्ट to the aluminum atom, and this product is formed. As a result, we get the aldehyde. So this is the mechanism for the reduction of the ester with diol H. Again, diol H is much less reactive as compared to lithium aluminum hydride. Why? Because lithium aluminum hydride can itself lose its H negative ion, whereas diol H is not able to lose its H negative ion. It will lose all H negative ion only when it is able to get lone pair of electron or some electron density from the other species. Next, third method for the preparation of aldehydes only, that is from hydrocarbon. In this first method is by the oxidation of methyl benzene using chromyl chloride, and this reaction is named as the Itard reaction. That is oxidation of methyl benzene. Here it is methyl benzene, and it get oxidized to aldehyde, that is benzaldehyde. This methyl benzene, the carbon atom is having the -3 oxidation state, and here the oxidation state is +1. So during this oxidation state, the carbon atom will move from -3 to +1 oxidation state. Now see how the reaction is taking place. Toluene, that is methyl benzene, on treatment with chromyl chloride in a non-polar medium, that is CS2, it will oxidize this compound to form a chromium complex, and this chromium complex is then separated from the reaction mixture and hydrolyzed to give the benzaldehyde. Now here in this reaction we are preparing the aldehyde from the methyl benzene, and the aldehyde compound are very much susceptible or very much easily oxidized to carboxylic acid. Now the question arises, why there the further oxidation of aldehyde is not taking place? It is because of the formation of this chromium complex. Due to the formation of this chromium complex, the further oxidation of this carbon atom is prevented. As a result, we are able to get the benzaldehyde. Now how the reaction is taking place? This is structure of chromyl chloride. During the reaction, the chromyl chloride, now just look at this reaction or this step. This is the structure of chromyl chloride. It is having two C double bond Cr double bond O group and two CrCl groups. The oxidation state is +6. During the reaction, this chromyl chloride will change into this compound, that is Cr, with 2 OH group and 2 Cl group, +4 oxidation state. During this reaction, the methyl benzene is converted into the benzaldehyde. Here the change of oxidation state is from -3 to +1. So change of oxidation state is of 4, and here the change of oxidation state is of only 2. Here there is increase of +4, but here it is decrease of +2. To balance the increase and decrease in oxidation number, for the oxidation of toluene we require 2 chromyl chloride, because in this in this process we are increasing the oxidation of this carbon atom by 4 units, but the chromyl chloride, the single molecule of chromyl chloride, is decreasing its oxidation number by only 2 units. So to balance the increase and decrease, we are taking the 2 units. Now, how the breaking of bonds take place, how the chromium complex is formed, we are simplifying that process so that you can easily write down the reaction. Now, during the reaction, in this chromyl chloride, one of the double bond O, one of the bond from this Cr double bond O group, one of the bond that will undergo breaking. As a result, Cr will have the only 4 bonds, and the reduction has taken place, that it has moved from plus 6 to plus 4. Now these two oxygen atoms are having the free bonds. Now how they are formed, how the valency of these two oxygen atoms are satisfied. Now this hydrogen atom will get transferred to this oxygen atom, satisfying its valency, and this oxygen atom will take the place of this hydrogen atom. Similarly, in the other unit also, the 2 bonds, one bond from each Cr double bond O group is undergoing breaking. As a result, the Cr will move from plus 6 to plus 4 oxidation state, and hydrogen atom of this CH bond will go to one of the oxygen atom, and the other oxygen atom will take the place of this hydrogen atom. So what is formed? O will go to this carbon atom. So we will have O at this position, then Cr. On Cr we will have one OH group and 2 Cl atom. Just the same I have written here, that is O, Cr, and this O will convert into the OH group, OH, and then 2 Cl2. As there are 2 units, so there are 2 such groups. This is chromium complex, and this chromium complex, it is formed during the reaction. It is separated from the reaction mixture, and then it is hydrolyzed with water in acid, in the presence of an acid, that is H3 positive means dilute acid. So the hydrolysis will take place, and how the hydrolysis will take place? During the hydrolysis, these bonds are broken. These bonds are broken. Now here 2 bonds are broken. The water will also break its 2 bonds. Hydrogen will go along with the oxygen, one hydrogen go along with the oxygen. So the product formed will be the Cr with 2 OH group and 2 Cl, the same product written here also. It will also Cr with 2 OH group and 2 Cl group, and the oxygen will go to this carbon, leading to the formation of benzaldehyde. So this is Itard reaction. In this way you can simply write down the Itard reaction, a very important name reaction usually asked in the question papers. Next, is oxidation of methyl benzene using chromium trioxide in acetic anhydride. That is, in this case also we are oxidizing this methyl benzene, that is toluene, to benzaldehyde, but the reagent has changed, that is here it is CrO3 in acetic anhydride. In the same way as in the above reaction, here the oxidation take place. The methyl benzene is oxidized to benzaldehyde, but the further oxidation of benzaldehyde, which is very easy, is prevented due to the formation of this intermediate, which is very much difficult to oxidize. Here the intermediate formed is benzaldehyde diester. Now let's see how the formation of product take place. In this toluene, these 2 bonds are broken, these 2 bonds are removed, and in place of these 2 CH bonds, these 2 groups are placed, and these 2 groups comes from the acetic anhydride molecule. and the acidic anhydride molecule here is playing the role of medium. The CrO3 is oxidizing agent. How the breaking take place? How the formation of this compound take place? Now these two bonds are broken, this bond and this bond. As a result, this CH3C double bond O group is placed at the position of this hydrogen atom, and the hydrogen atom will go to this carbon atom. So, and similarly here this group, this CH3C double bond O group will move to this carbon atom, and hydrogen will move to this carbon atom. As a result, CH3C double bond OH, CH3C double bond OH is lost, and these two groups, CH3C double bond OO, CH3C double bond OO, these two groups are attached to this carbon atom, and this product is formed, that is benzaldehyde diacetate. Then again in the same way, hydrolysis is carried out in the acidic medium. During the hydrolysis, this bond will be broken, these two bonds will be broken, and again the water will also undergo breaking of its two bonds. The hydrogen will go to this two carbon oxygen atom, and the substance or the group lost or the species removed is the CH3C double bond OH. These two bonds will be broken, and the hydrogen atom will go to the two hydrogen atom of the water molecule will go to this oxygen atom. These two will be converted into CH3C double bond OH. Same here, two molecules of acetic acid are lost, and oxygen will go to this carbon atom, and we will have the benzaldehyde. So these are the simplified way of writing these equations. You can easily understood how the reaction are taking place and how the reaction equation can be easily expressed. Next method is by the side chain chlorination of methyl benzene. Side chain chlorination of methyl benzene. This is methyl benzene, that is toluene. Side chain chlorination. Here the one carbon group, that is methyl group, it is the side chain on this benzene ring. Now the chlorination take place on this side chain. Chlorination means that is replacement of hydrogen atom by the chlorine atom. Chlorination take place. As a result, it is oxidized to the benzaldehyde. Now, how the chlorination is carried out? Now, here in this reaction, we are placing the chlorine atom on the alkyl group or the side chain or the alkyl group, and here the process will take place in the same way as we carried out the chlorination of alkane. The condition will be taken as the Cl2 in the presence of sunlight. We have taken 2 moles of Cl2 for single mole of toluene, so only the 2 hydrogen atom will be removed. Sorry. In this way, we will get the benzyl chloride. This compound, that is the 2 hydrogen atom will be replaced by the Cl atom, and the hydrogen atom lost from this position will go to chlorine atom and lost in the form of HCl. Now this benzyl chloride is then hydrolyzed by heating with water. Again these two bonds will be broken with the water. The hydrogen atom of the oxygen atom, hydrogen atom of the water molecule will go to this chlorine atom to form the 2HCl, while the oxygen will combine with this carbon to form the benzaldehyde. Next is Gattermann-Koch reaction. Now what is this Gattermann-Koch reaction? It is again the method of preparation of aromatic aldehyde from benzene. During this reaction, the benzene is treated with a mixture of carbon monoxide and HCl in the presence of anhydrous AlCl3 and CuCl, that is cuprous chloride, as catalyst. And during this reaction, the benzaldehyde is formed. Now how the reaction is taking place? Let's have a look. And during this reaction, that is Gattermann-Koch reaction, the carbon monoxide having this structure will combine with HCl to form the formyl chloride. that is HCl molecule is added to this C triple bond O group, that is carbon monoxide, to form the HCOCl. And this HCOCl in the presence of AlCl3 will form the formyl cation. How? The AlCl3 molecule is acting as the Lewis acid. It will abstract the Cl negative ion. This AlCl3 molecule is behaving as the Lewis acid. It will abstract the Cl atom from Cl negative ion from this compound, leading to the formation of AlCl4 negative and formyl cation. And this formyl cation will then carry out the electrophilic substitution reaction with benzene. The same reaction which we have studied already in class 11th. How that reaction is taking place? This benzene will share its electron with the formyl group or formyl cation. As a result, this resonance stabilized carbocation is formed. How? The double bonded carbon atom or the carbon atom of this double bond will move to this carbon atom, and this formyl group or this formyl cation get attached to this carbon atom. Because this double bond is moved to this carbon atom, so this carbon atom has lost its electron. It becomes positively charged. So this carbocation is formed, which is resonance stabilized. These two double bonds will help in resonance stabilization of this carbocation. And in the next step, this resonance stabilized carbocation is losing the proton to this AlCl4 negative, which is formed here. So the AlCl4 negative will remove this H positive ion, and the electron which is remaining behind will move to the benzene ring to complete it. As a result, we get the benzaldehyde. So in this way, we can prepare benzaldehyde from benzene by the help of Gattermann-Koch reaction. Next is method of preparation of ketones only. Now here we are discussing only those methods in which ketones are formed as the product. Now first is from acyl chloride. Acid chloride. From there we are preparing the ketones by the use of dialkyl cadmium, that is R2CD, dialkyl cadmium. How the reaction is taking place? This is acyl chloride or acid chloride. On treatment with R2CD in a medium of dry ether, you will get the ketone. Simply this R, it is a organometallic compound having bond between the organic part and the metal, and these compound can easily lose the R negative group, that is alkylide ion, and this alkylide ion can easily replace this Cl negative ion. As a result, we will get R C double bond O R. The Cl lost will combine with Cd, that is cadmium, to form the CdCl2. As there are two R group on this R2CD, it will be able to convert two molecules of acyl chloride into ketone. Now the function of this R2CD is only to provide the R negative ion, that is alkylide ion, R negative, which can attack this carbon and replace this Cl. And this R negative ion or the alkylide ion is also provided by the Grignard reagent. So why we are not using Grignard reagent here? Why we are using this special different reagent, that is R2CD? This is because of the lesser reactivity of R2CD. R2CD, that is dialkyl cadmium, is less reactive as compared to Grignard reagent. And as I have said earlier, the reagent which is less reactive will be more selective. R2CD is less reactive, so it will convert the acyl chloride into ketone and not the ketone further into alcohol. I am talking of the reaction which we have studied in previous chapter, that is alcohol, phenols and ether, that the ketones and aldehydes, when treated with Grignard reagent, they got converted to alcohols. So the aldehyde and ketones can be further converted into the alcohols by the treatment of Grignard reagent. So if we use Grignard reagent here, the Grignard reagent are so much reactive, they will first convert the acyl chloride into ketone and then ketone into the alcohols. But the dialkyl cadmium is much less reactive as compared to Grignard reagent. That's why it will carry out only the first step of converting the acyl chloride into ketone and not the second step of converting ketone into the alcohol. That's why we are using R2CD here. Now can you guess why R2CD is less reactive as compared to Grignard reagent? Now this is a question for you. I am just giving a hint for it, that consider electronegativity of both the atoms. Both the atom means here the atoms which are different, that is cadmium and magnesium. You can easily conclude that why the R2CD is, or dialkyl cadmium is, less reactive as compared to Grignard reagent. Next step or next method, that is from nitriles by the use of Grignard reagent. Here in case of nitriles I am using the Grignard reagent. Why not the R2CD? Simple. Here the compounds are nitriles and nitriles are much less reactive as compared to acyl chloride. Acyl chloride are much reactive. So for the less reactive reactant, we have to use more reactive reagent. Next, how the reaction is taking place. This RMGX will provide the R negative ion, and the R negative ion will move to this carbon atom, which is positively charged carbon atom of the nitrile. As a result, this bond will be transferred to the nitrogen atom, and nitrogen atom will become negatively charged, and this positive portion of this Grignard reagent, that is MgX positive, will move to this nitrogen atom. As a result, a product is formed with R, C, this R dash on this carbon atom, double bond N, and with negative charge, and MgX attached to this nitrogen atom here. It is the addition product of these two compounds, simply called as the adduct. So this product is then hydrolyzed by acidified water or dilute acid to give the desired product. Again, we will see how the breaking of bond take place. Now we have to break this bond. These two bonds will be broken with the help of water. The water will also undergo breaking of its two bonds. The oxygen will go to this part and hydrogen will go to this part, that is NH2. Similarly, this bond is broken. The OH part will go to this magnesium atom, hydrogen will to the nitrogen atom, and we will get NH3 and MgOHX. In this way ketone is formed. Here I am taking an example, very important conversion, that is how will you convert propane nitrile into 1-phenyl propane 1-one. Phenyl propane 1-one. Now, if we want to convert a nitrile into a ketone, for the conversion of nitrile into a ketone, we have to consider this Grignard reagent. Now, which Grignard reagent is required? How can we conclude? In such cases, write down the structure of the starting compound and the end compound, that is the product which is desired. Now compare the two structures. The difference will be coming from the Grignard reagent. In these two structures, here it is CH3, CH2, same CH3, CH2. This carbon here, here it is triple bond N, nitrile, here it is double bond O, that is ketone. Now the difference is that of the CCH5 group. So this CCH5 group will come from the Grignard reagent. Now how the reaction is taking place? Same. This CCH5 negative portion will go to the carbon atom because of its positive charge. As it reaches the carbon atom will lose its electron towards the nitrogen atom. Nitrogen atom will get negatively charged. As a result, this MgBr, the positive part, will go to this portion. As a result, this adduct is formed, CH3, CH2, C, and on C there is one CCH5. There is double bond because one bond is broken and the electrons are transferred to the nitrogen atom, and the nitrogen atom is having the full negative charge, and MgBr is attached to this nitrogen atom. Now again, the hydrolysis of this adduct in acidic medium, that is dilute acid, with the help of dilute acid, the breaking of bond will take place from this position. Oxygen will go to this part, two hydrogen will go to this nitrogen atom, and from here one more hydrogen atom come to nitrogen atom, and we will get CH3, CH2, C double bond O, CCH5, that is this compound, and from here nitrogen we will get the NH3, and the OH will go to this Mg part, we will get the MgOH-Br. Now what is the name of this compound? Here CCH5 means the benzene ring, monosubstituted benzene ring. On this group is placed. In this the ketonic group is present. The ketonic group is present in the side chain, so the side chain is taken as the main chain, and this CCH5 group is taken as the substituent. It will be phenyl group when taken as the substituent. Numbering will take place from C double bond O group 1, 2 and 3. For 3 carbon atom, and the word root or the root word is prop. Carbon chain is saturated in, and at one position there is one one. So the name becomes 1-phenyl propane 1-one. Now if you study thoroughly, one point must come to your mind, that in the previous lecture, during the discussion of the nomenclature, I have said that in propanone there is no need to mention, there is no requirement of mentioning the position of the ketonic group. No position is required. Yes, correct. But that is only when the compound is simply the propanone. No further group is attached, only the propanone. Then it is okay, because the C double bond O group will occupy the middle position, that is the central carbon atom, and it will always be propane 2-one or simply the propanone. No need to mention the position of the C double bond O group. But here the C double bond O group is present at the first position, and if the C double bond O group is present at this position, C double bond O, that is second carbon atom, the name will again be the same. If I am not mentioning the position of the ketonic group, the name will be the same. If the position is not mentioned here, the name will be 1-phenyl propanone. And if this C double bond O group is at this position, and again I am not mentioning the position, the name will be 1-phenyl, because the numbering will move from this side, or will carried out from this side because of the substituent 1, 2 and 3. The name become 1-phenyl propanone. So in the two compounds, the position of C double bond O group is different, but the name is same. That is totally wrong. So in this case, we have to mention the position of the C double bond O group. And if we have that compound in which C double bond O group at this position, then again we have to mention the position of the C double bond O group. In that case, the name will be 1-phenyl propane 2-one. Here the name will be 1-phenyl propane 1-one. So in such cases, we have to mention the position of the C double bond O group. where there are two possibilities. And next is the last method or the preparation of ketones, that is from benzene or substituted benzene by the help of Friedel-Crafts reaction. This is the same reaction from the previous class, that is 11th class, chapter hydrocarbon. In this case, we will carry out the Friedel-Crafts acylation reaction. Friedel-Crafts acylation reaction is a type of electrophilic substitution reaction in which acyl group is introduced into the benzene ring. That hydrogen atom of the benzene ring is replaced by this acyl group. How the reaction is taking place? The aromatic hydrocarbon, that is benzene, is treated with acyl chloride in the presence of Friedel-Crafts catalyst, that is anhydrous AlCl3. This anhydrous AlCl3 will remove the Cl negative ion from this compound, leading to the formation of an electrophile RCO double bond O positive, that is acylium ion RC double bond O positive, because this Cl negative is taken away by the AlCl3. This acylium ion will then undergo electrophilic substitution reaction with benzene ring to form this product. Now see the position of the bonds. As this bond is broken, the carbon is having the free bond, so this carbon will undergo bonding with the benzene ring. Usually these students carry out the bonding with this R group. So if this bond is broken, this carbon atom is having the free bond, so this will make the bond with the benzene ring, and it is an aromatic ketone because of the presence of benzene ring. Like this example, here benzene is treated with acetyl chloride, or in IUPAC system we can name it as ethanoyl chloride. So this Cl negative will be removed by this AlCl3. We are left with CS3CO group, and this will be placed at the position of this hydrogen atom, and the hydrogen atom will be lost with this Cl as HCl. Now the compound will be benzene on benzene, C double bond O and CS3, this compound, and this compound is acetophenone. So with this we finishes the different methods of preparation of ketones. Next is physical properties. In physical properties of aldehyde ketones, we are discussing only the two properties, that is boiling point and solubility. The boiling point. While discussing this boiling point topic, I am stressing upon one fact, that boiling point of a liquid depends upon the strength of intermolecular forces. The most, that is the force of attraction which is existing between the two molecules of the substance, and does not depend upon the bond strength of any of the bond. Usually the student thinks that during the boiling, if the bond between the atoms is quite strong, then the boiling point will be higher. It is not so. The boiling point will depend only on the strength of the intermolecular forces. Stronger the intermolecular forces, the stronger will be the bonding. The stronger the intermolecular forces, the higher will be the boiling point, because when the liquid is boiled, or when it reaches its boiling point, its physical state changes from liquid to gas. It moves from liquid to gaseous state. Liquid to gaseous state. And in the gaseous state, the molecules of the liquid are moving away from each other. And for this movement, they have to break down or remove this intermolecular forces. If the forces are strong, then we have to supply more and more energy to separate those molecules and to convert the liquid into the gaseous form. So the boiling point will depend only on the strength of the intermolecular forces. The boiling point of the aldehyde and ketones in comparison to the other compound follows this order. The hydrocarbons are having the lowest boiling point, then ethers, then aldehydes, then ketones, then alcohols, and carboxylic acid, maximum boiling point. Sorry. Now, why this is so? The hydrocarbons are having the hydrocarbon, they are completely non-polar. They are having the weakest dispersion forces, London dispersion forces. That's why they are having the lowest boiling point. Ethers, they are slightly polar due to the sp3 hybridization of the ethereal oxygen, that is the oxygen between the two alkyl group, that is sp3 hybridized, and it is having the bent structure. Due to that bent structure, it is having weak polarity. That's why it is having the weak dipole-dipole forces. In case of aldehyde and ketones, in the first lecture, during the discussion of the structure of the carbon compound, I have said that C double bond O group is strongly polar, and because of that polarity of C double bond O group, they are strongly polar and having dipole-dipole forces. Among the aldehyde and ketones, the ketones are slightly more polar. And why ketones are slightly more polar? Because of the presence of two alkyl groups, two carbon containing groups, they are having more dipole moment. So, the ketones are little bit more polar than the aldehydes. So, here the dipole-dipole forces is little bit stronger as compared to the corresponding aldehydes. In alcohols, due to the presence of OH group, oxygen atom is having the hydrogen atom bonded to it. Due to the presence of OH group, it will have H bonding, and H bonding is much stronger as compared to the dipole-dipole forces as well as dispersion forces. So, the alcohols are having the higher boiling point as compared to all the four compounds. Now, what about carboxylic acid? Carboxylic acid also shows the H bonding, but here the H bonding is much stronger as compared to alcohols. Now, why this is so? Question arises, if both are having the H bonding, why this is so? This is the same case here. Here both are having the dipole-dipole forces. Even this ether molecule is having also having the dipole-dipole forces, but due to the difference in the polarity, they are having the different strength of the dipole-dipole forces. Here in case of carboxylic acid, the OH group is more polar. The OH group is more polar than in case of alcohol. That's why here H bonding is much stronger. This higher polarity we will discuss in the carboxylic acid part, but the carboxylic acid are having the stronger H bonding due to the greater polarity of the OH bond. So, the order will be hydrocarbon, ether, aldehyde, ketones, alcohols, and maximum in case of carboxylic acid. I have written here the boiling points of different compounds, that is N-butane, methoxyethane, that is propanol, propanone, propane-1-ol, ethanoic acid. Why we have taken these compounds? All these compounds are having the comparable molecular masses. So, they are corresponding compounds having the comparable molecular masses, that is the effect of molecular mass on the boiling point is removed while comparison. So, I have taken these compounds having similar molecular masses, but look at the difference in their boiling point. It is 273, 281, 322, 329, 370 and 391. The boiling point is continuously increasing. Next is solubility. In case of solubility, we must remember one thing, that if any compound is soluble in water, that is only because of the formation of H bonding. Any compound which is soluble in water, it is only soluble because of the formation of H bonding. So, in case of organic compound, if it is written that this compound is soluble and this compound is not soluble, you will simply say the compound which is soluble in water is because of the formation of H bonding. And the formation of H bonding, that you have to conclude that how the formation of H bonding is taking place. How can you show the formation of H bonding between the water molecule and that organic compound? Same is the case here. The lower aldehyde and ketones up to 4 carbon atom are soluble in water. Lower aldehyde, that is having up to 4 carbon atom. In case of aldehyde, we will see that is methanol, ethanol, propanol, butanol. In case of ketones, that is propanone, butanone, up to 4 carbon atom, they are soluble in water. Even the aldehydes like formaldehyde and acetaldehyde and the ketone, that is acetone, they are freely soluble in water. So these lower aldehyde and ketones are freely soluble in water or soluble in water due to the, and why this is so? Because the formation of H bonding. How the formation of H bonding is taking place? In this way we can show the H bonding in among the water molecule and the aldehyde and ketones. This is water molecule having bent structure with sp3 hybridization of this oxygen atom. These hydrogen atoms are positively charged, having partial positive charge, and this C double bond O group, the oxygen atom is having partial negative charge. They will attract each other, and this hydrogen bonding will be responsible for the solubility of these lower aldehyde. But the aldehyde and ketones having 5 or more carbon atom are practically insoluble in water due to the larger proportion of the non-polar part, which causes hindrance in the formation of H bonding with the water molecule. Just like in the case of other organic compound also, which is soluble in water, as the carbon chain increases, the solubility will decrease. Why this is so? Because this polar part is responsible for the solubility or the formation of H bonding, and the carbon chain is non-polar, and the non-polar part is not soluble in water, because water is polar and this part is non-polar. So this part is being non-polar. This will cause, as its size increases, its proportion increases, it will cause hindrance in the mixing of molecule with the water, and that causes hindrance in the formation of H bonding with the water molecule. As a result, the solubility will decrease. So as the carbon chain increases, the non-polar part increases. This non-polar part will decrease the effect of, or will overcome the effect of the polar part, and hence decreases the solubility. So students, with this we finishes with the second lecture of this chapter, covering the different method of preparation of aldehyde and ketones and the physical properties. So we will meet for the next lecture next time.